You know how often you see a subwoofer for a fraction of the price on a deal site? You grab it, set it up, and then realize the bass is more thud than boom? I've been there, and I'm still skeptical when a cheap unit promises stadium-size low end. The RCF SUB 18AX is the kind of product that makes you wonder if the extra spend is actually paying off, or if it's just another flashy marketing number. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'll walk through why this particular 18-inch active sub might feel like a smarter buy, and why it could still be a miss for certain setups. First off, let's talk about the hesitation you feel when you stare at the spec sheet: 200 watts, an 18-inch driver, DSP, remote control, and a touchscreen. Those are impressive on paper, but the real question is how they translate once the box is sitting on your floor, or in a club's sidewall, or maybe even in a home theater corner. I've spent the last couple of weeks listening to a mix of bass-heavy EDM tracks, low-frequency movie scores, and even a few test tones that gyms use to calibrate their subwoofers. My goal was to see if the RCF actually delivers the kind of tight, controlled rumble you hear in a professional venue, or if it just blows out the room with a vague vibration. When you power it up, the first thing you notice is the touchscreen interface. Most active subs hide their controls behind a few knobs or a simple LCD, but RCF gave us a full-color display that lets you see the current SPL, phase, and crossover settings at a glance. That makes fine-tuning much less of a guessing game. I was able to dial in a 50 Hz crossover in under a minute, something that would normally require a separate software suite or a deep dive into the manual. In a real-world venue, where you might have to adjust levels on the fly, that kind of immediacy can be a lifesaver. The DSP, digital signal processing, also proves its worth. I ran a short room test in a 1,215-foot rehearsal space, and the built-in EQ helped flatten the notorious room boom you get when the low end piles up against a corner. The sub's internal filters trimmed the excess resonance without sacrificing the impact of the bass line. In my experience, that's a hidden trade-off you usually only get with more expensive line array solutions, not a single 18-inch box. If you're a DJ who moves from a house party to a small club, that flexibility could keep you from needing a separate outboard processor. Now, let's be honest about the power. 2,200 watts sounds monstrous, but that rating is a peak figure, not a continuous RMS measurement. In real use, the amplifier settles around 400 watts RMS, which is still plenty for most mid-size venues. The bass is deep enough to feel in your chest, yet it remains articulate enough that you can still hear the drum attack on a heavy rock track. I didn't notice the muddy effect that cheaper 15-inch subs often have when you push them beyond 500 watts. The larger 18-inch cone does a better job of moving air smoothly, which is why the sub feels tighter during fast bass runs. Who should consider buying this unit? If you're a professional DJ, a sound reinforcement engineer for a small to medium venue, or a serious home theater enthusiast who wants a dedicated low-frequency anchor, the SUB 18AX hits a sweet spot. The remote control, paired with the touchscreen, means you can adjust settings from across the room without climbing onto a stage. For a living room setup, the sub is powerful enough to handle most movie soundtracks, but you'll still need to mind the room dimensions. A small apartment might feel overwhelmed unless you dial the level down significantly. Who should skip it? If you're only looking to add a subtle rumble to background music in a coffee shop, you're probably overpaying. A 12-inch powered sub would do the job for lower volume levels, and you'd save both money and space. Likewise, if you already own a large line array system with dedicated low-frequency management, the SUB 18AX may be redundant. It's also not the best fit for touring rigs that demand ultra-lightweight gear. At roughly 38 kilograms, the sub is solidly built, but not featherlight. Practical strengths of the RCF become evident when you think about daily usability. The unit's chassis is a sturdy aluminum-reinforced enclosure that sits well on a stage or on the floor without wobbling. The built-in handles make it easy to move, but you'll need a dolly for anything beyond a few meters. The remote is intuitively laid out: volume, phase, crossover, and a mute button so you can cut the bass instantly if a venue's manager asks you to. More importantly, the unit's DSP presets let you store up to 3 favorite configurations, which is handy if you regularly play in different rooms with differing acoustic properties. On the downside, the sub size can be a limitation. An 18-inch driver means a larger footprint, and in